everybody. Thanks for tuning into this Artist Spotlight. I'm here with, this guy doesn't need an introduction. Everybody knows who he is. It's Psycho Dave.
The trumpets.
You know, I keep telling Dave, he's probably tired of me saying this, but every time it's without fail. So many interviews, I'll be talking to him, and they just throw Psycho Dave.
That's a good way to get killed.
There you go. But his name comes up so frequently, and for good reason. Dave's an OG now.
Yeah,
you're the new OG.
I was a little herpy running around back in the day. Now I'm an old guy. It's nice to finally made it to old guy status. You know.
That's right. Dave has also been a real friend of the project that I'm working on. Over the years, when I set it down, every so often he would kind of chime in and say, "Ned,
come on, Ned, you're not done yet."
That's right. So,
I'm glad you're doing it. It really means a lot, and to a lot of people.
Yeah,
it does. It's important, and having people like you do that. You're a talented guy. Your words mean a lot. You know, so keep on going.
I appreciate that, and I've really appreciated your support. Just your words of encouragement have meant a lot to me, Dave.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
So I wanted to poke a few questions at Dave. You know, talk a little bit about your personal history.
My personal history?
With tattooing.
With tattooing?
We need this to be somewhat PG.
I don't know. I'll try not to swear.
No, you can swear, actually. Forget I said that.
I've been tattooing, been involved in tattooing since the 80s. I started with Mickey Campbell, and I started tattooing in the penitentiary, and then after that I got out, was working with Mickey, and I was really into psychobilly music. I got the name Psycho Dave from psychobilly music, but I also had a fist fight with a guy who ended up, I bit his lip off. Not all the way out, but enough that, he had to get surgery. And, that kind of, it sticks after that. You play the piano your whole life, you're not a pianist. You bite one guy's fucking lip off.
Yeah, you're Psycho Dave.
But he told me, the last thing I do, I'm going to kick your ass. And he got me back.
Did he?
He busted my noggin open too, and now we're friends.
Yeah.
And really good friends too, but I think that, a lot of people, they respect each other once they've been through that kind of stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And I did, I was an asshole. I should have done what I did, but I did. And I paid the price for my mistakes in life.
Yeah.
But like King Kirk, Wannabats, Meteors, all those bands, the psychobilly bands, I still love them, and I still listen to them to this day. And that's really where the Psycho name comes from.
Okay.
But, I also wasn't a guy you wanted to meet in a dark laneway in the 90s.
Sure, yeah. Your tattoo dad, your mentor, Mickey Campbell. I was so fortunate that I drove up to Elliott Lake and I interviewed him, and I'm so glad I did. What are some of your memories about him? Because he was prevalent in the Toronto area for quite a while.
He worked at Adventure, I believe, and with Donnie and Dee and a couple other guys. He was also doing maintenance in the building where I lived as a young man. Okay. And coming out of prison, I remember seeing Mickey before, but then coming out of prison, I seen him, and I'm like, who's this tattoo cat, right? Like, what's going on? So I got to know him, and then he taught me the real basics, like acetate stencils and stuff like that, carving them with a nail engraver. I love the guy, it just was super friendly and super nice, and a knowledge. And like I told you before, like I met Carol Nightingale.
Yeah, Smokey
through him, and then I was just a little shithead kid. I didn't ask him any questions. I didn't know who he was, and I regret not doing that. What are you gonna do? But Mickey, I got nothing but love for. He always helped my mom out, but she lived down there too. And just a sweetheart of a man.
Yeah.
I think without him, I wouldn't really be doing what I'm doing. Him and Crazy Ace.
And that's the thing about hindsight. It's always 2020, and maybe this is a good reminder to the younger tattooers out there whoever brought you in, if you were brought in by somebody,
respect your elders, listen to them. They might be long-winded and a pain in the ass, but they're telling you stuff for a reason, you know. Like
you'll look back at that with some really fond memories and gratitude later.
100%. I wish I had the brains to ask more questions.
Yeah. So speaking of fond memories and gratitude, tell me a little bit about Ace Daniels and how he came into your life.
Ace, well, that's a funny story. A friend of mine was like, "Hey, do you know Crazy Ace?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know who he is. He's a tattoo artist down in the States." He goes, "No, he's sleeping in my garage. He was on his way to New York with Louie the dog and in the motorhome." And he goes, "Well, he wants to meet you." I said, "Okay, well, let's meet." We went to the Gasworks for lunch, and Ace was like, "Well, what do you think? I'm going to go to New York and open a shop." I said, "You should open one here." And he goes, "Where?" So I took him down to Queen Street West, took him on Yonge Street, the Gasworks and stuff. And we drove around. He goes, "This place needs some Crazy Ace." And he's like, we stopped him halfway to New York, and the rest is history. We opened up Way Cool together, and I started working with him. I was a terrible tattooer at the time. I was still learning. And he stuck a machine in my hand and was like, "Start working." And the rest is history too, right? I eventually learned some tricks and trades. Ace showed me the hustle. I really learned that from him. The sideshow hustle, and you know how to tune machines and you know whatnot. Ace really taught me that. Gave me some coastal machines in a box and like, fix these. You know, the usual old school, not plug and play.
That's right.
Put these together first. How come it doesn't run? Because you're a moron.
Now, and I know your personal history. I know what. Because you've told me these stories when we interviewed for the book.
Yep.
But you know, and when you really look at that, you played a significant role in how and why Ace Daniels came to Toronto.
Exactly.
And through you, inadvertently through you and through Ace, obviously. Yeah. There's like a massive family tree.
There's a massive family tree. So many artists and like. I think Toronto grew by leaps and bounds when he stopped and put roots here, and some might have not thought it was the greatest thing, but I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
And still seeing all the people that have learned from Ace and myself, and the family just keeps growing. You know, like it really, it's. I'm talking to people. I'm like, I don't remember that guy's name, but I remember his art. You know, like so many. You know.
When I was interviewing Ryan Halter the other day, and we were talking about somebody who was a strong mentor to him, who was the Dutchman.
Yeah.
And when I look at the Dutchman, I see the Dutchman on several different levels. Like there's Dutchman, the teacher of teacher, how he teaches tattooists to become great tattooers,
and so many great tattooers.
And he's a good amazing tattoo artist. And he's also John the person.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at Ace is similar. Like he has layers to him.
Very much so. Yeah.
You know, so
you got the indoor Ace and the outdoor Ace, public Ace and the home Ace.
Yeah.
You know, Ace was a really down to earth guy, animal lover. You know, and he really loved the industry. You know, and a lot of people in it. But you know, he was gruff too. He'd tell you to go fuck yourself. We had nose-to-nose screaming matches in the shop back in the day, and people were like, "Oh my God, it's going off!"
Yeah,
it never got to anything. It's just two Daves yelling.
Yeah, you know, and people often they want to hear about Crazy Ace because he was a gregarious character who was very egregious. You didn't know what he was going to do next.
Nope.
But Ace the person, you know, that's what fascinates me even more than the persona that we put on her.
It's like Psycho and Crazy Ace are two different guys. Psycho Dave is a different guy. Yeah.
So tell me, like you were already saying about Ace the person. You know, like any little things about him personally that you came to understand more, or taught you how to be a better person.
He did. You know, like I mean, he obviously had some time before us, and I was fighting with one of my friends, Mark, one night. Mark was getting the better of me. Ace brained him with a bag of ice and, got me out of there. I had to go work at Lollapalooza with a black eye, and, Ace wasn't too happy. But he was like, you got to slow down. Eventually it's going to catch up to you. And I didn't slow down, but like as I got older and the things he taught me was like, You got to cherish your friendships, and like if you're gonna fight with your bros, but don't make it so serious that you can't repair it. And Ace was like that. If he loved you, you were in all the way. If he didn't like you, you were out all the way. But he taught me not to burn bridges, and that's pretty good advice. And I'm sure he learned the hard way too, because I know some people didn't like Ace.
Yeah,
didn't keep him up at night.
No, that's for
like
sure.
It doesn't keep me up at night. It is what it is. I'm sure I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'd rather be a cappuccino.
Well, in spite of what you think, a lot of people hold you in such a high regard. And speaking about you, I keep looking at your work as you post on Instagram, and I love how, even though you come from an old guard, you're still progressing. Your work's getting better, and I watch your stuff all the time. And I love what you're putting out.
That's one of the things Ace did teach me, because your next tattoo should be better than your last one. Just keep progressing, and you'll always be a good tattooer. You know, and it's hard not to. There's so many talented people in the industry. But like, I may not get it right every time, but I do my best every time, and that's all you can give to a customer, and that's all they want. I still think tattooing is an art form and an entertainment form. People come and get a tattoo from me, they're gonna hear some shit, some funny stories and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And that's to me, that's I got to be good to tattooing because it's been good to me.
Yeah,
like that keeps me out of prison. So. I'll take it.
Does it make you just go, fuck, if I do that, I'm going to go to prison and I can't tattoo.
That's right. Well, you could tattoo in there, but it's
it's a lot
more fun on the street.
Sure, yeah. And just to really make the audience happy, well, give us a really crazy story about you and Ace, or you.
Holy shit, where do I begin? I think the funniest time was like we were in Montreal and we were doing dance convention and everybody was there, Bonji, all the club brothers, and me and Junk Food Johnny got drunk and were streaking around the goddamn convention like a pair of idiots in the hallway of the hotel. And Ace was not happy about that. I don't blame him.
Yeah, Ace, the businessman.
Yeah, you're on my team. You're fucking up now, kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many of those. I miss them. I miss those days.
Yeah.
My life was different.
Well, like things are meant to change. Life has changed.
Yeah,
we can't live life and not change. But we have a lot to be grateful for, like you had just said.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that I grew up. I caught the tail end of that era of tattooing, and
you came out of nowhere too. You were like blazing guns, man, and you're still killing it. And I'm just appreciative that you include me in these projects.
Yeah. No, I'm honored.
Tattooing really is a good lifestyle. I wouldn't do anything else. I tried music. I tried being a gangster. I tried all that shit. This is where I always come back to, and I wouldn't trade it for a world. Some days are great, other days aren't.
Yeah.
Like Ace used to say, chickens today, feathers tomorrow.
That's right. So trip down to Ace and Sword in Burlington and get yourself a handmade original Psycho Dave tattoo. You can only get Psycho Dave from Psycho Dave.
That's it, right? You can hear some stories.
Thanks, buddy.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.